Okay, let's just dive right in. If you've ever tried to get in shape, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You go online, and it's just an absolute avalanche of diet plans. It feels like you're stuck in a maze, and every single person is promising they have the secret map. So, how in the world do you find a plan that's actually going to work for you? And what's really interesting is how this whole conversation started to change. A few years back, you started seeing headlines just like this one. It was this concept called flexible dieting. And honestly, it was a pretty radical idea. What if you didn't have to give up all the foods you love to get the results you want? Because, let's be real, we've all seen these names. They're everywhere. And each one has its own set of rules, its own diehard community, and of course, its own amazing transformation stories. The problem is, they all seem to completely contradict each other. So this leads to the big question, right? What's the best way to even think about nutrition? Is it all about following a strict set of rules? Is it about crunching numbers like a scientist in a lab? Or is it something more like a personal art form? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down all three of those philosophies to try and find some answers. First up, let's talk about the commander. This is your highly structured, rule-based diet. It's perfect for anyone who just thrives on clarity. Think about those intense 42-day fitness challenges. The whole philosophy here is simple. Eliminate all the confusion by giving you a clear, non-negotiable set of commands. The mindset here is totally black and white. There's an approved list of foods, and that's it. If it's not on the list, you can't have it. This approach just gets rid of all the guesswork, all that analysis paralysis. For some people, that kind of certainty is exactly what they need to get going. The rules are the rules. Period. The whole system is built on a template. It's simple. Each meal has a designated protein, a carb, and a veggie. You just pick from the approved list and plug it in. It's all designed for efficiency and to build that discipline through structure. Now, this whole approach is built on a few core beliefs. The commander knows that preparation is everything, and that feeling motivated, well, that's not going to be enough. It's an all-in mentality. Protein is absolutely non-negotiable, there are no cheat meals, and you have to learn to trust that eating a high volume of nutrient-dense food is the goal. And ultimately, for the commander, this is the final word. This is the mantra. Success isn't about what you do for 1 hour in the gym. It's about the discipline you maintain for the other 23 hours of the day. And nutrition? That's priority number one. But what if you absolutely hate being told what you can and can't eat? That brings us to our second approach, the scientist. This is for the person who wants control through data. See here, it's not really about what you eat, but how much you eat. The precision comes from tracking numbers, not from a list of good or bad foods. The entire foundation of this approach is understanding macronutrients, or as you've probably heard, macros. It's simple, really. They're just the three main parts of our food that give us calories. You can think of them as the building blocks of your body's daily energy budget. And here's where the math gets really interesting. Protein and carbs, they both have 4 calories for every gram. But look at fats. They're more than double that, with 9 calories per gram. This is the core data the scientist uses to build their entire plan. It really is all about that energy balance. And here's the process. It's basically a 5-step formula. First, you figure out how many calories your body burns in a day. Then you tweak that number based on your goal, eating a bit less for fat loss or a bit more for muscle gain. From there, you set your protein and fat targets, and whatever calories you have left over, that becomes your budget for carbs. A really common starting point, especially for people who are new to this, is setting your protein at 1 gram per pound of your body weight. It just goes to show how critical protein is for building and keeping muscle. That's a principle that both the scientist and the commander totally agree on, even if they have different ways of getting there. So we've had the strict rules of the commander, and we've had the hard data of the scientist. Now we get to our third archetype, the artist. For the artist, dieting isn't a battle plan or a spreadsheet. It's a personal philosophy. This is for that intuitive person, the one who wants to create an approach that feels totally effortless and sustainable. This quote, which is inspired by Sun Tzu's The Art of War, just perfectly captures the artist's mindset. The whole goal isn't to fight your body or to fight your cravings. It's to create a system where the healthy choice becomes the easy choice, the natural choice. And even within this one philosophy, there's a whole spectrum. One artist might take a really relaxed approach, fitting in treats and using tools like intermittent fasting. But another artist might be much stricter, focusing almost entirely on nutrient-dense foods and a set meal schedule. There's no single right way to do it. So how does an artist find their path? Well, they start by asking these 5 essential questions. It's basically a self-audit. And the focus isn't just on results, it's on sustainability, health, enjoyment, and just practicality. I mean, the plan has to work in the real world, not just on a piece of paper. And this is the core principle. Life changes. A diet that worked for you in your 20s, it might not work in your 40s. The artist gets this. They build a system that can adapt, one that can evolve as their body, their goals, and their life circumstances change over time. Okay, so after looking at the commander, the scientist, and the artist, which one is the right one? The truth is, it depends. The most important point isn't picking one, but understanding that context is everything. The best diet isn't some static plan. It's a blueprint that has to adapt to your body's changing needs. Let me give you a really powerful, real-world example of this: perimenopause. This is that transitional phase where a woman's hormones start to shift, sometimes dramatically. And all of a sudden, a diet and exercise plan that worked perfectly for years might just stop working. And this is where all 3 of those philosophies have to come together. This happens because the body's internal conditions have totally changed. The old rules just don't apply anymore. Things like unexplained weight gain, feeling tired all the time, shifts in your metabolism, these are all signals that your body's asking for a new, more supportive strategy. And this is what a new blueprint might actually look like. And notice how it blends all 3 of our archetypes. You've got the commander's non-negotiable rule to start every day with 30 grams of protein. You have the scientist's data points like tracking 10,000 steps. And you have the artist's focus on sustainable habits like making sleep a priority and managing stress. And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. The most effective, long-term strategy isn't about forcing your body to follow some rigid set of rules. It's about listening to its signals and creating a hybrid system that works with your unique biology, not against it. Which leaves us with one last question for you to think about. Are you just looking for a temporary diet to follow? Or are you ready to build a personal system you can actually live with? A system that knows when to be a commander, when to be a scientist, and when to be an artist? The answer to that question is going to define your entire journey.